Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 5 Star Revolution podcast with your host, CJ Price. Welcome to another great episode, and thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, go over to Facebook right now, like and share our Facebook page, 5 Star Revolution Podcast, for your chance to win a $200 Visa gift card. We need 1,000 likes on our Facebook page, so share our Facebook page, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel right now. Today, we have a very special guest. He is the Asian warrior, Sean Lao. How you doing today, sir?
Doing pretty well. How are you doing today, CJ?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for joining us here tonight.
Thank you. It's been an honor.
So, let's start from the beginning here. What's your earliest memory of professional wrestling?
Earliest memory. So is that whenever I started getting involved in wrestling, or since I started becoming a fan with the product?
Like, since you were a little kid.
Oh, okay. So the earliest memory, I would say around the year 2000. It was on a Thursday night. I didn't grow up with cable, so mom would usually get ready to go to work at night, and so she would have the TV on. At the time, I didn't think much of it. She had on SmackDown, and you can say the day I really got into it was November 2nd of 2000. It was a Rock. It was The Rock versus Kurt Angle for the WWF Heavyweight Champion for the main event. It was a storyline of who ran over Stone Cold. And so you can say that was when I really started paying attention to the storylines. And I keep asking my mom, okay, why is this happening? Well, Eddie Guerrero keeps interfering in matches because he's the bad guy. Um, yeah, so the way I see it, someone like The Rock, he was basically the face of the commercials or the previews that we would see on UPN. And so I figured, you know what? That's probably the hero of the show. I see Kane come out looking unstoppable, and I figured that's the main villain. So that's basically my earliest memory. And what really got me wanting to watch the product even more was playing the video games, creating your own character, and basically living the storylines.
So you missed the whole Attitude Era.
Early Attitude Era.
Man, you missed a lot of great wrestling, but I'm sure you can go back to the network and watch it now.
Indeed.
So, who were your favorite wrestlers growing up?
It was mainly Attitude Era Kane. And the reason why is, he was someone that was seen as mysterious. He had a full-on mask, hardly talked, but he could tell a great story. And he's the type of character that makes you want to, know more about his backstory. Same thing with the Undertaker. There's also The Rock, Kurt Angle, that I've enjoyed watching as well.
So, how'd you get your start into the professional wrestling business? When did you start training?
Okay. This would be around 2019, the summer. I just graduated, and so I went out of town to go to one of those Comic Cons. It was a Hub City Comic Con in Lubbock. Rampage Wrestling was doing an event there, and they were also holding booths for tryouts. Me, I never really planned on wrestling, but then once I showed up, I kind of had that itch. Just seeing some of the performers, and it just kind of don't exactly know how to explain it. But I was interested, just figured, why not give it a try? You only live once, right?
That's true.
And I'm
So,
not
what,
getting younger.
so what made you want to become a wrestler?
A lot of it is being a fan of the product growing up, and also acting out some of the stuff, with some friends. Whenever you grow up, you like to practice moves on each other. You like to pretend to be some of your favorite wrestlers, and I never realized that it was going to be something that would follow me into my adulthood. Like I said, I never really planned on doing it, but then once I had that itch, I figured, you know what, I'm not getting any younger.
Do you remember your first match? And if so, what do you remember from that match?
Oh, so I'm not really sure if you're familiar with the American Tragedy Phoenix. It was our open house show. This was after the whole pandemic situation. The top of Texas has been closed down for a bit, but then we started opening back up, kind of introducing our new building. I was to the point where I was getting ready to at least be a body to some of my opponents, to some of the people I'm working with. And so it was going to be a squash match against Phoenix. So at first it was just going to be like a total squash. I wasn't going to get any offense in, but then I guess those around me looked at my physique and figured, okay, you know what? This guy can do a little bit more. So we want this match to be about 3 minutes. So went out there. Once I heard my music, especially after you get that first match jitter, like you get knots in your stomach and you figure, oh, I'm going to forget everything. And once you're out there, once you get the crowd going, you get all those nerves, you do what you need to do, and you just put on a show.
So, out of all the promotions you worked for so far, what's your favorite promotion and why?
I would have to say Squared Circle Pro SCP from Lubbock. Um, it's it's one of the promotions that's ran in one of the restaurant bars, and it has a bit of an adult theme to it. And so the way I see it, you're not really limited to trying to be kid friendly. And the crowd there is amazing. You get like a whole lot of people in attendance, and it's just the atmosphere all around.
So, for those fans and for those people that are listening right now who don't know who you are, do you mind explaining who Sean Lao is?
Sean Lao, if you look at his character, if you look at his gear, he's more of his appearance is inspired by the Mortal Kombat character Liu Kang. You get the red or the blue headband. You get the tights that resemble his gi that he wears in his fights. I do have a bit of a backstory with that if we have time for it, but yes, basically, Sean Lao is inspired by multiple various fight uh, characters from fighting games such as Mortal Kombat, Tekken, etc., and maybe some martial arts movies too. But the more of the backstory is Sean Lao is of Lao descendant, hence the name Sean Lao. And so what I'm wanting to do with Sean Lao is being able to advocate for the Lao culture and to be able to bring more awareness of, what, there is another Asian culture. It's the Lao culture, and basically I want people to know more about us.
So, I never heard of the Lao culture. You mind telling us about that?
And see my point exactly. So the Lao culture, so it originates from the country of Laos. It's a Southeast Asian country. It's the only landlocked country. It borders Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia. And so just the gist of it, we are pretty similar to the Thai culture. The three-headed elephant logo that you see that I portrayed goes back to the Three Kingdom of Laos back in the day before the whole Vietnam War went on, and that's all I can think of at the top of my head.
So, is wrestling big out there, or how does your culture take wrestling?
As far as my culture in Laos, I'm not really too sure. But like I said, I want to be able to expand that knowledge, to expand the knowledge of my culture, and in return to expand the knowledge of wrestling to the people of Laos.
And have you been there in person?
Unfortunately, I haven't, but I do have plans to be there sometime in the future to kind of get to know more about where I'm from, know more about my roots.
So, how long you been wrestling so far?
A little bit under 2 years. I started training December 2019. I had my first match November 2020 of last year.
So you're still kind of a rookie in a sense. How does somebody like you deal with backstage politics?
Backstage politics. I try not to get involved too much. I show up. I do what I need to do. You know, I work hard, clean, do whatever I need to do to make sure that I have a place, in that promotion. As far as backstage politics, I try not to get into the drama unless I'm dragged into it. There was a recent situation that I don't really want to get much into, but for the most part, I just shut up, listen, do what I need to do, and if it's not enough, then I have no place there.
So to piggyback off that, how do you deal with those veterans that are hard-headed and you have all these ideas for a match, but they totally just shun you and say, "No, man, we're gonna do it this way instead."
And like I said, I shut up, I listen to the vet, and if the booker has a problem with it, then that goes to the vet. Because as someone that's green, I'm supposed to listen to the vet, follow the vet, and to be able to learn something. And so if it's something that the booker is not really, if it's something that the booker is not really on on par with, then basically it's on them.
So speaking about learning, what's one thing you've learned from professional wrestling that you carry on into your normal life?
One that I'm still learning at this moment is slowing down. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with that term too. Slow down, process, think, meditate, allow everyone else to be able to process what you're doing. And so, how that correlates to real life is, we're like, we just want to go ahead and stop, smell the roses, and just be able to live in the moment rather than just try to do everything at once and just not have meaning behind it.
Absolutely, man. You have to slow down and let things register to the crowd. So, what is your wrestling style nowadays? What do you consider yourself as, a high flyer, a brawler, technical?
I consider myself as a combination between technical and high flyer, but more of just a basics. And one of the things I learned growing up is sometimes basic can be the best thing because that's what you grow up learning and applying. Once you master it, then you can change that vanilla to a different flavor.
What's the longest drive you've done so far?
The longest drive, it would probably have to be Salina, Kansas from Amarillo, Texas, about 6.5 hours.
So when you do those long drives and you get to the venue, there's only like 20, 30 people in the crowd. Do you get disappointed in that? And how do you perform on those shows?
So I haven't been disappointed yet. The way I see it, especially as someone as green as I am, I'm supposed to be able to put on the show the best I can at 100%, 110%, as if I'm performing in front of thousands. So that way, even if we get 10, 15 people in attendance, they can spread that word out saying, hey, this is an awesome show. You guys should come out next time. And, we can get more and more fans involved.
I absolutely agree, man, because you never know who's watching. So you should always do your best in any type of match you're in. Um, so who's your dream opponent? Anybody in the business?
Anyone in the business, even if they're retired,
Active wrestlers.
active wrestler, yeah, that's a bit of a tough one. There's Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, someone that would really piss my girlfriend off. But yeah, those guys have been all over the country, all over the world, Japan, Europe, Mexico, here. And so being able to learn with some of the best, those that are well known, and being able to see if you can hang with them.
Do you think you can hang with them at this moment if you had a match with them tomorrow?
Um, Honestly, just give me about 5 more years, maybe my scope.
5 more years. Wow, that's a long time. I don't think you need that long, man. I think I've seen some of your videos and you're very impressive for only 2 years in.
Oh, thank you.
No problem.
Like I said, we're not getting any younger. Believe it or not, I'm not in my 20s anymore. So,
You look young still, man. So
oh, thank you.
what's that going for you? So this is the portion of the podcast where I ask the wrestler to shoot a promo for me in character for like 30 seconds on your next opponent. Do you mind doing that?
Oh boy. So I am going to admit that promos aren't exactly my strong suit, but I do have a bit of a replacement. So I'll be right back.
Okay.
Koisu Sean Lao. And Sean Lao understands that he has a bit of a challenge on him, but Sean Lao's not here to be doing any promos. And Sean Lao is here for a challenge. And you, CJ, looks like you are a great challenge for Sean Lao. Now, it doesn't matter if you're 7 foot tall, 300-pound tank, short, tall, big, wide, small. He wants you one-on-one. So the next time, it's not going to be behind the screen. Next time, it's going to be face-to-face with you, CJ.
That's not bad, man. That's not bad at all. Hey,
I had a
man,
long day at work. But
I used to
next time, those in attendance, they're going to learn along with you to be loud, be proud.
be loud, be proud. I like that.
Oh,
So
well,
is
here's
that your
this.
moniker?
There we go.
Is that your moniker? Is be loud, be proud?
Indeed.
So how do you connect with those fans in the crowd? I know you should. I know by the way you portray yourself, you're a face, right?
Indeed.
So how do you connect with the crowd during a match?
So basically, just being unique, being myself, not trying to be like any other guys that want to be country, that want to be hip, that want to be, whatever they see on TV. I like to be able to portray something that hasn't been portrayed as often. So just me being myself, me being unique in the ring, me being able to work the crowd like no one else has.
So besides pro wrestling, is there any other sports that you follow or you do?
I've done track and I've done high school wrestling back in the day. Other than that, I'm going to be honest, I'm not exactly a sports fan. I'm more of what you would call a nerd. I like to cosplay and I like to be able to mess around with music as well.
So are you a DJ? Do you make music?
I made my own entrance music.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't consider myself a pro at it. I'm more of, I like to, I've always been fascinated with music and this goes to being unique. I don't like having to find someone that will make music for me. I'd rather do it myself. That way I can put whoever I am into what I do.
Hey man, that's a talent that I don't have, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. So keep it up, man.
Indeed.
If there's one thing that you can change in the professional wrestling business, what would it be and why?
Um, if there's one thing I can change is that it's not so much about the land of the giants. Back in the day, it was all about the Hogans. It was all about Andre the Giant. And these days, um, the smaller guys are just now starting to make their names. If you look at WCW, the smaller guys didn't get as much attention until later on. And so that's the struggle that I feel right now. I feel that someone that's not a bigger guy, I'm someone that has to work a little bit harder to be able to get that same satisfaction with the crowd. And it's kind of hard to be able to kind of get what you need whenever you're someone my size. I'm 5'6", 160 pounds, and not able to do a lot of big guy moves because it's something that's considered unrealistic. Me, you look at me, what do you expect for me to do in the ring? You expect for me to do crazy high flying crossbodies, flips, right?
I do expect that out of you. Do you do flips and stuff like that?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not an expert at flips. I can do things that are considered high flying. I can do some cross bodies. I can do bits and pieces, but I can't do like crazy backflips, shooting star presses. At least not yet. But I
Well,
feel that once I get some yoga done or get some more body work on me, I can get those done in like a year or so.
I was gonna say, man, you have the capability because of your size, so I'm sure you can do it. Um, what? Why does wrestling mean so much to you?
Well, it stems back from the days of my grandfather. My grandfather, he's one of those that risked his life to bring his family to America when there was a war going on in the 70s. The whole family had to cross through the jungle, through the Mekong River into Thailand. They stayed at a concentration camp for a bit and then came to the U.S. Um, my mom grew up watching wrestling with my grandfather. He liked Hogan, and so me, since I became a fan, we would watch wrestling on Thursdays. We would watch UPN SmackDown, and he would come to me and say, "Hey, boxing tonight." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, let's watch some wrestling."
Do you have any funny road stories or backstage stories that you would like to share?
And I got one backstage story. So I was just starting out. I was 3 weeks into training. This was in December. It was during the Christmas show. We were backstage planning on doing the seasons beating battle Royal Rumble style matches. So we're each given numbers, and I was asked to participate if I wanted to or not. So we were assigned numbers. And so one of the guys backstage, he comes up to me and goes, "Hey kid, how old are you?" I'm like, 29? He goes, "What? You're tripping." Yeah, I'm serious. So he goes to the booker. He goes, "Hey, this guy said he's 29." And the booker goes, "No, he's not." "I'm for real. He is." "No, he's not. He just said he's 29." "Look, the number I gave him is the number he sticks with." "No, he's 29 years old." And I got a kick out of that the rest of the night.
That's funny, man. That's funny. So, what number did you come in?
I was second to last just because I was only 3 weeks into training, and so I'm not going to be trusted to do a whole lot in the ring except for just punch and kicks and get thrown out.
What's your finisher move?
It is a slice bread, not the one where you run up the corner. It's a standing to where I have my opponent's head on the shoulder. I do a bit of a backflip and I land on my ass. Looks pretty violent. I, however, don't want to call it the sliced bread. I want it to be more of a Lao influence. So the name that I have for it is the Mon Fai, meaning lights out.
I like that. I like that. So, a couple more questions for me, Mr. Lao. What can we expect out of you in the next 3 years?
The next 3 years, hopefully, I'm to be more established, getting out there. I'm to the point where I'm branching out even more and branching out on my own to be able to see what's out there. I'm also expecting to be able to reach out to more to the Lao communities. I already got some good followers on Instagram. I already got started with an Instagram page called Lao Lessons, and they've featured me a few times as being a wrestler, and I've been introduced to other Lao wrestlers too. So hopefully, sometime in the future, I get to travel to places like New Orleans or Alabama to be able to team up with them. Hopefully, if they're watching, Jordan Ja, Gato, El Gato, what do you say? Would you like to do a stable? Maybe we'll be the Loud and Proud team, the Lao Kingdom, you name it. All
So my last question for me, Mr. Lau, is what's your main goal? What are you looking to get out of this world of professional wrestling?
a lot of it is, just to put myself out there, prove that even though we're all getting older, I can still hang with some of the younger guys, and to be able to also make myself well known too. One of these days, I like to be on TV. One of these days, I like to be able to wrestle some of the greats, those that are on TV, whether it's through WWE, AEW, Impact Wrestling. I like to be able to hang with those guys, and then eventually, maybe, who knows? I can make it to one of those big companies.
I can see you going to like Impact Wrestling or AEW. I've read that WB is not looking into signing any indie talent down the road. So unfortunately, I'm sorry about that. But I do see you Impact Wrestling or Ring of Honor maybe. Who knows?
Good deal. Well, thank you.
No problem, man. So is there any social media or anything that you would like to plug for the show?
Okay. Well, you can follow Sean Lao on Facebook. It's facebook.com/ Sean Lao Asian Warrior. So it's SeanLaoAzn Warrior. As far as Instagram, it's Instagram/ Sean Lao. I'm about to get a YouTube started sometime soon. I do have TikTok as well, Sean Lao Asian Warrior, same URL as the Facebook. And I'm going to try to make it LinkedIn and make sure that everything is all together.
Well, Mr. Sean Lao, we wish you the best of luck in your career. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Five Star Revolution podcast. Hopefully, if you make it big someday, you can come back on the show.
Indeed. And don't forget, be loud, be proud.
Absolutely, sir. And for you listeners, don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Five Star Revolution Podcast, and follow us on Facebook, Five Star Revolution Podcast, $200 Visa gift card giveaway. Share, share, share. Sean Lao, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Have a good one.
You too, man.